At that time the disciples came to Jesus and asked, "Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?" He called a child, whom he put among them, and said, "Truly I tell you, unless you change and become like children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Whoever becomes humble like this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven. Whoever welcomes one such child in my name welcomes me. Take care that you do not despise one of these little ones. For, I tell you, in heaven their angels continually see the face of my Father in heaven. What do you think, if a shepherd has 100 sheep, and one of them has gone astray? Does he not leave the 99 on the mountains and go in search of the one that went astray? And if he finds it, truly I tell you, he rejoices over it more than over the 99 that never went astray. So it is not the will of your Father in heaven that one of these little ones should be lost."
I was at my nephew's birthday party last weekend, watching him blow out his candles. He's 5 years old, and when someone asked him what he wanted to be when he grew up, he said, "I want to be a superhero who helps sad people feel happy." No hesitation, no self-doubt, just pure, unfiltered desire to make the world better. As the adults chuckled at his unrealistic dream, I couldn't help but think he might be the wisest person in the room. This passage from Matthew captures one of those moments when Jesus completely flips our understanding of success, importance, and value. The disciples come to him with what seems like a reasonable question: who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? They're probably expecting a ranking system, maybe some criteria for spiritual achievement, perhaps a discussion about who's doing the best job following Jesus. Instead, Jesus calls over a child. Picture this scene: grown men, religious leaders, people who've left everything to follow the Messiah, and Jesus puts a little kid in the middle of their theological discussion. I imagine the disciples looking at each other, confused. Jesus, we were asking about greatness, not babysitting." But Jesus knows exactly what he's doing. Unless you change and become like children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. Not unless you become more mature. Not unless you gain more knowledge. Not unless you achieve more spiritual milestones. Unless you become like children. What does it mean to be like a child? I think about my nephew again. Children are naturally humble. They know they don't know everything. They're dependent. They understand they need help. They're trusting. They believe what you tell them. They're authentic. They don't pretend to be something they're not. They're forgiving. They don't hold grudges. They're curious. They ask questions without shame. All the things we tend to lose as we mature. Jesus continues, "Whoever becomes humble like this child is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven." The greatest, not the most educated, not the most accomplished, not the most influential, the most humble, the one who has learned to approach God and others with the openness and dependence of a child. Then he adds something beautiful: "Whoever welcomes one such child in my name welcomes me." When we welcome the humble, the dependent, the vulnerable, we're welcoming Jesus himself. This isn't just about literal children, though it certainly includes them. It's about anyone who approaches life with childlike faith and humility. The passage jumps to verse 10, where Jesus gives us a stern warning: "Take care that you do not despise one of these little ones. For, I tell you, in heaven their angels continually see the face of my Father in heaven." Don't despise the little ones. Don't look down on them. Don't dismiss them as unimportant. Why? Because they have angels who are constantly in God's presence, advocating for them. The little ones, the humble, the vulnerable, the overlooked, they're not forgotten by heaven. They're not second-class citizens in God's kingdom. They have direct access to the throne room of God through their angels. I think about how often we dismiss people: the homeless person on the street corner, the awkward kid in youth group, the elderly person who tells the same story for the 10th time, the new believer who asks simple questions, the person struggling with addiction, the single mom working 3 jobs. Jesus is saying, be careful how you treat them. They matter more than you know. Then comes the parable of the lost sheep, and this is where my heart just melts every time. A shepherd has 100 sheep, and one wanders off. What does he do? He leaves the 99 and goes searching for the one. When he finds it, he's more excited about that one sheep than about the 99 that stayed put. This isn't economically logical. Risking 99 for one doesn't make business sense, but it makes perfect love sense, because to God, every single person matters infinitely. You're not just a number in a crowd. You're not expendable. You're not replaceable. If you wander off, God doesn't shrug and say, "Well, I still have plenty of others." He comes looking for you. I love that Jesus says the shepherd rejoices over it more than over the 99 that never went astray. There's something about finding what was lost that brings extraordinary joy. It's like when you lose your wedding ring and then find it. The relief and happiness are overwhelming, even though you have other jewelry. God feels that way about you when you come back to Him. When you've wandered off, made mistakes, felt lost and alone, and then you turn back toward home, heaven throws a party. The angels who see God's face are celebrating because one of the little ones has been found. The passage ends with this profound statement: "So it is not the will of your Father in heaven that one of these little ones should be lost." Not one. God's will is that every single person, especially the humble, the vulnerable, the overlooked, should be saved, should be found, should come home. This challenges everything about how we measure worth and success. In God's economy, the greatest are the most humble, the most important are often the most overlooked, the ones who matter most are the little ones that society tends to dismiss. My friend Sarah works with homeless teenagers. She told me once, "These kids that everyone else has given up on, they're the ones who teach me the most about faith. They know what it means to depend on God because they have nothing else to depend on. They're humble because life has humbled them. They're the greatest in the kingdom of heaven, and most people walk right past them." So here's what this passage is asking us. Are you willing to become like a child? Are you willing to embrace humility over status, dependence over self-sufficiency, authenticity over image management? Are you willing to welcome the little ones in your life, not just tolerate them, but truly welcome them as you would welcome Jesus? And if you're feeling like one of the little ones yourself, if you feel overlooked, undervalued, or lost, know this: you have angels who see God's face advocating for you. You matter so much that if you wander off, the Good Shepherd will leave everything to come find you. You're not forgotten. You're not dismissed. You're precious beyond measure. The kingdom of heaven isn't about climbing ladders or earning positions. It's about coming home to a Father who values every single one of His children, especially the ones the world considers least important. In God's kingdom, the last are first, the humble are exalted, and every lost sheep is worth the search.